to close the community effective June 1st. I've taken several steps based upon that decision. However, in order for the city to move forward, there's several steps that need to happen. The action was taken by the council did not specify that the city was officially closing the community for good, thereby surrendering the city's off-sale license. We need to modify the current liquor ordinance, and without doing so, we cannot issue off-sale licenses to interested parties. I've been contacted by several folks in the community looking for temporary off-sale liquor licenses. We can't do that under our current ordinance. The State Liquor Control Board will not even process their applications to get a buyer's card, which they need to purchase, until we notify them that we've changed our ordinance and we've closed the municipal operations for good. We've been busy liquidating inventory. By liquidating, I mean giving it back to the, returning it to the vendors or selling it. But since June 1st, we haven't closed. State law requires that all final disposition of all of our inventory has to be strictly accounted for from the city to the Liquor Control Board. The council needs to decide if they're going to formally close municipal on and off sale, and then make necessary steps to change and amend the liquor ordinance. Public hearing has to be ordered. The earliest time we could do that would be at the next meeting, June 27th. The clerk would need to be directed to publish the proper notifications. They have to run twice, I believe. Right, Kathleen? Staff needs to be informed as to what kind of language that you would like to have. Specifically, how many licenses we want. We can perhaps go into that level of detail once you've officially decided you're going to move forward and hold the public hearing.
The public hearing is on the ordinance change, correct?
Correct. The ordinance needs to stipulate how many permits you want to issue, licenses.
Not whether or not we're closing the liquor store. It's on the new ordinance.
The ordinance will include that language. As far as I can tell, we can't issue. We can't maintain our license and issue other licenses. Although there are some who think that perhaps we could argue that point. I would not recommend taking up that fight.
Well, option 2 is basically off the table.
On your agenda.
On the agenda.
That's correct. There's something that we looked at. The law doesn't necessarily preclude us from doing that, but it would take a while to get that figured out. And based upon the fact that the state won't issue permits, they treat off-sale and on-sale a little differently. I don't quite understand why. Let's see. I just want to remind the council one more time, if we modify the ordinance so the city is no longer the sole owner of the off-sale, and we start issuing off-sale licenses, in order to get a municipal license back, it would be very difficult, near impossible. So by taking this step, you're forever charting the course here for the city. Reestablishing a municipal liquor store, I believe, is a 2-year process. If a future council were to decide to do this. So the recommendations, council should direct staff to order a public hearing to be held on June 27th, amending the liquor ordinance, so that we can issue multiple off-sale licenses.
We get copies of the current ordinance before.
Yes. Council should decide a reasonable number of licenses that they would permit, or at least think about that. We can discuss that at the meeting.
We should decide that at the next meeting.
I think we could write that into the ordinance. Council should decide on setting a maximum fee. Currently, it's no more than $240. We would probably recommend that you would select whatever the maximum allowable fee is from the state. We would also respectfully ask that the manager be allowed to open the off-sale for limited times until the ordinance is effectively adopted in order to sell as much remaining inventory as possible. Frankly, there's only one back row that's got some items on it, and then there's 2 other shelves. I've got some pictures if you'd like to see it, but there's not very much that's left in that building as far as alcohol for sale, and we would recommend at least opening met, trying to get rid of it.
My understanding that all inventory has to be gone.
That's correct. The most difficult decision, of course, is since we've already put the part-time employees on a layoff status, we need to move to terminate those employees if the community is not going to reopen. And then we need to start discussing about what the future use of that building is going to be, as well as any other disposition of equipment that's inside the building, televisions, pool tables, etc. We can do an inventory of that.
As far as
time
the
goes by.
excess inventory as alcohol goes, can we just sell it to the
No.
people around town? No. All right, then.
We can, but I think it would be rather difficult because of the taxing issue. We'd be far better off, in my opinion, to just open the doors, since Diane's already working, and just sell what we can. Our vendors have been really good about taking product back, and Diane's done, I think, a really good job of getting that inventory back in the hands of them. But some of the inventory is a couple years old, and they just won't take it back, because they can't resell it. We're also reminded that the FEMA funding for that building is going to, it's going to severely impact the decision on what the future use is going to be, as you all are quite aware.
Diane to open, sell down the inventory she can. What do we do with the rest of it? At some point, we have to close.
We can sell it off to another liquor establishment, but it's you have to have that inventory, and you have to sign off, they have to sign on, we have to sign off, we have to send it to the liquor control people, we have to surrender our retail buyer's card. We have to do all that.
We want to do
But we
that
wanna
at the
get it down
absolute
to
last,
teeny tiny.
Right.
the smallest amount possible, and at the last moment possible. Obviously, once the ordinance goes into effect, we won't be able to sell, because our license will be gone.
And if we allow Diane to open and sell as much as she can, but there's gotta be a number of hours.
It would be predicated upon her number of hours she's full-time, so it wouldn't exceed what her hours.
Motion, I got a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Robertson, second by Mr. Dahl. Any discussion?
I've been quiet long enough. This is what should have been done in the final 60 days of the municipal that we gave them, was exit plans. Things should have been in place so the day that that place closed, we could hand Jim Kitchens or Stumpy's or whoever that walked through the door an application for an on-sale license, or off-sale license, excuse me. That being said, the place is closed. If we were at another council meeting, I guess I would have moved to reopen it. We can change our minds. I'm very, very disappointed in the way this was handled, and that's it.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Now, as far as setting up the public hearing for the 27th,